Hello everybody, it is Mikenkanikal, and today, January 1st, 2016, is my 7th year YouTube anniversary, which is actually really insane to think about, especially because I'm 17. I've been doing this since I was 10, and I've been making videos since before that. It's mind-blowing. Lots of things happened this year, but long story short, this was the best year of my life. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of 2015 and just kind of work our way to the present. Last year with my friends, I went on a day trip type thing to the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses 2015 Master Quest. Woo. That was a very long name, and it's kind of unnecessarily long. I mean, they could have just called it the Legend of Zelda Symphony and be over with it. They could have even just called it the Zelda Symphony, but they decided to make the giant long name, I guess to keep with the trend of the video games having super long names. But I digress. It was very fun, and it was a very memorable way to begin the year, and my friends were there with me, and it couldn't really have been better. You know, if the person sitting right next to me didn't, mock the entire Zelda fan base that was there the whole time. And then I began Skyping in January, which might kinda sounds a little bit weird, but hear me out. I Skyped with my friends for, years and stuff. I've had a Skype for a very long time, but I've never actually really used it with people outside of, 2, maybe 3 people max. But then this year, I started Skyping my friends that I met on Twitter and various other things. At the very beginning, I was very quiet, and it was, nerve-wracking, because it's like, if somebody figures out about this, I'm dead. And now, last night I just stayed up till 5 in the morning talking with people, or at least I intended to stay up till 5 in the morning. I fell asleep quite early, but, we were, not being very quiet, so it's kind of crazy how just in a year, things can change that drastically. And then, in February, I vlogged an entire episode of my school vlog out in public for the first time. The entire thing. Which might not sound like a lot, especially because it's only 2 or 3 minutes long, but because I'm very shy, and I've been vlogging for a long time, and that's the first time that I did an actual full video in public, that's kind of a breakthrough in my shyness and vlogging life. Very, very poor choice of words, but you understand what I'm saying. Then a few weeks later, the new episode of Gravity Falls Not What He Seems aired, and I decided, they're building up a giant reveal, I might as well just record my reaction to it. And so I recorded my reaction to it, and that was that. I wasn't going to do anything with it. It was just there, and I thought, this would be nice to look back on in a few years whenever it's like, remember when that was a giant twist? Let's look back on it and see how my initial reaction was. And then one of my friends convinced me to put it on YouTube, and I thought, I'm not sure, why not? And so I put it on YouTube, and it blew up overnight. It was the fastest video to hit 100 views that I've ever posted. And it's still maintaining quite a high view rate. And so I want to say thank you to Justin for encouraging me to do that, especially because it kind of changed my channel a bit. It brought more traffic to it. Then in April, Nintendo announced Mewtwo. And then they also announced Lucas and completely surprised everyone. Because they were like, hey, Mewtwo's gonna be the only DLC character because it's just an extra add-on thing. And then when they announced Mewtwo, they were like, hey, Lucas is here as well. And then the floodgates were open because it's like, hey, they're making characters. More characters can be in the game. Our characters can be in the game. And so a bunch of people, made fan pages for their characters, and we're trying to get them to get more votes, because Nintendo also opened up a ballot, and everyone's like, okay, if we vote for the person the most, then that means they have to get in the game, and it'll be amazing. That isn't exactly what happened, but people dreamed. But despite almost half a year since the game came out, the hype train was still going at full force like the game hasn't even released yet. And that was a cool thing for Nintendo to do for 2015. Just, hey, here's a few other games that are coming out. Not very many. But you can all have new Smash Brothers characters to keep the hype going. Then I decided, school isn't really that stressful anymore, and, I might as well try to do this. So I started filming entire episodes in more of a vlog format. And I had an insane amount of fun with it, and those vlogs are some of the best ones I've ever posted, in my opinion. Plus, they're just so much more fun to look back at, because instead of just listening to me talk about it, it's look at all of these things that I know about. There's that couch, there's some there's that couch, there's just the school, and it's just more of a memorable thing to look back on and not just like, okay, here's just me talking for 2 minutes without any edits. Good job, freshman Michael. Good job. I like to think I grew up a little bit, despite kind of returning back to it in my junior year vlogs. Then a few weeks later, after school ended, the biggest trip of my life, the Europe trip. It was 2 weeks long and it was overseas, which I've never been overseas before, so that was an entirely new experience for me. And I vlogged the trip, and I highly enjoyed it, and it was probably in my top 10 life experiences. So that was an awesome trip, and I'm glad that I took you guys along for the ride. While we were in Europe, Nintendo released Splatoon, which was an insanely popular hit, especially in Japan, to the extent of they're having an actual Squid Sisters concert this year. Which, I'm proud of Nintendo. They've been having some troubles in the last few years, but maybe this is encouraging them to try new things and have new games and not just have sequel, another sequel, remake, sequel. Around that time, I met some new friends and just got closer to that group in general, and I still talk to them on a daily basis, and we have Skype calls on a daily basis that are many hours long, and many fun times are had. And then Jurassic World took the world by storm by reaching the 3rd highest grossing film of all time ever worldwide, despite it having so much product placement that it felt like I was watching a commercial. They also made fun of product placement, which is kind of odd, but good job on them. They made so much money that nothing matters to them anymore. Speaking of movies, Inside Out also released around that time and brought faith back to the Pixar community as they thought maybe Pixar's losing their magic. No! They're back in full force, 99 out of 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. Then later that same summer, I painted my room this new color, which it wasn't this color earlier this year. It was a darker shade of blue, and I thought, I kind of want something different. And so it's something different, and I like it way better. It makes the room feel so much more open and just more breathable. Then, in the beginning of August, it was my birthday, and it was the best birthday I've had in my life, which also continues the trend of 2015 being the best year of my life. My friends stayed up until midnight with me, and they started singing happy birthday, and we just played games, and it was just a fun time. It was something that you can't really think about how great it was unless you've experienced it, so thank you to my friends who were there with me for making that such an unbelievably amazing day. Thank you guys, once again. Then, a few weeks later, in the month of September, something some people were excited about. Nobody knew what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden it released, and Undertale was one of the biggest games of 2015. Just all of its humor, just the different battle system, and multiple endings made it a classic hit with everyone almost instantaneously. There was so much fan art that it won Game of the Year's most reblogged fandom Tumblr 2015, something along those lines. All I know is that Undertale won by an insane amount.
In review for the most reblogged video games of 2015. One Game Awards nominee that makes the cut is the sleeper hit Undertale, and it's up for multiple awards: Indie Game, RPG, and Games for Impact. It's this magical old-school RPG where you can kill your enemies with kindness.
It's like you couldn't get away from Undertale for an entire 2-month period. Hey look, there's a flower, I'm gonna take a picture of it and post it on social media with the caption, "In this world it's kill or be killed." Isn't that just so hilarious? I'm an original person, where are my favorites and retweets? Then in October, I went to Boston and hung out with one of my friends for the very first time, and it was a very magical experience.
And we got a vloggity vlog!
A vloggity vlog!
Let's go.
Boston.
From Boston.
Boston. And one of the best few days of my life that I've ever had. So once again, continuing the trend of 2015 being the best year ever. And so in October, there was a random Monday with a random game that was being played. And Disney said, there's going to be a new Star Wars trailer tonight. And that game, just because of the Star Wars trailer, broke viewership records. Just to begin the hype of Star Wars that was already accumulating over the past decade, just kind of began to leak into the world and show everybody how excited, just how excited people were for this new movie. Fandango crashed as soon as it said pre-order tickets were available. Multiple showings got sold out instantly, and then this was the first time that this has really happened in modern movie history, and people were being very confused and thought, This is different. I'm gonna actually have to get tickets and wait for tickets and not just be able to buy the tickets when I want to go see the movie the night before. And it showed an entire new world of people waiting for tickets, refreshing the page until they went up to the mainstream. This was how Comic-Con was, and this is how the modern movie industry is going to be, with hits like Star Wars and Jurassic World coming out in these coming years. Then in December, the final month of the year, the game that I've been waiting 3 years for, Xenoblade Chronicles X. It was about to come out. I was so excited. I was thinking about skipping school the day it came out just so I could play it for longer. I ended up not, so perfect attendance record for this year. It's still intact. Xenoblade Chronicles X, next time you see me, I will have it! And then the game came out, and I've been addicted to it ever since. I have almost 60 hours in it, which I know for a lot of people that's like, only 60 hours, I already have 100. I do know people that have 100 hours in it. But I have only 60, and that's still a lot of time for me because it's only been out 3 weeks. And then for the rest of December, the world was in full Star Wars hype mode. The galaxy has never seen anything like this. Everything was Star Wars related. The cereal, various extension cords, light bulbs, anything you could possibly think of had Star Wars to it. You want to turn on the TV? That's not a Star Wars commercial. They're just, flying around in space, BB-8's in there. But it's a car commercial, because cars can totally fly. But Star Wars hype was in complete, full-on force, and it broke the record for all-time weekend by almost $50 million, which if you don't keep up with the box office, that's a lot of money. And it became the fastest movie ever to reach $1 billion, a feat that not even 30 movies have accomplished, and it did it in not even 2 weeks. And at time of recording this video, it is number 8, all-time worldwide. People are excited for Star Wars. And that was pretty much this year in a nutshell. I want to say thank you to everybody who made this year the year that it was. There are a few people that I want to mention. First of all, anyone who watches my videos, anybody who's clicked on a video of mine, whether they liked it or not, even if you're watching this video right now and you're not enjoying it, thank you for giving me a chance. And then I just want to thank my friends for just being my friends and talking to me throughout this year and helping shape it up to be the best year of my life so far. And I want to say thank you to Sam. I know this technically happened in 2014, but he opened the door to something that I was only looking at through a window, and I want to say thank you because you changed my life. It's a reminiscence video in 2015. I have to say something changed my life, but no, I mean this. It changed my life, and thank you so much for that, Sam. I will try to repay you somehow. I will see you guys later. I hope 2016 is a brilliant year for every single one of you. I'll see you guys later. Thank you all for watching and being a part of my 7-year today YouTube journey. Goodbye. See you in the next one.